104.5 The Team, your home for New York Jets football. Right now we are joined on the phone by the Sporting News' Vinnie Iyer, and he, of course, focuses mainly on the NFL. Last night's game, little dull, but did you find it optimistic for the Texans, Bengals, or either?
Little dull. It was, I think it was pretty dull. I don't know what kind of adverb we want to use with that, but it was hard to watch. It was the classic Thursday night clunker, and you look at this game, and it's not a surprise. You had a Texans team, just a shell of a team, with all the concussions they suffered in week one. Impossible to get a lot of people on the field there to play. The one highlight, all it took was one big play by Deshaun Watson, pretty much decided the game. So I think on the other side, the Bengals, just where they were a couple years ago to where they are now, 0-2, not having a touchdown after 2 home games, Andy Dalton on the ropes here, Marvin Lewis on the brink here. It's just pretty ugly in Cincinnati, and I don't know if either of those guys is going to survive this as a leader on this team at the end of this. Wow.
Vinny, we here in New York are waiting, I wouldn't even say patiently, to see if Odell Beckham Jr. is going to play this weekend. Is it weird to have the player come out? I mean, have you and say it's a 6 to 8 week injury?
It is very weird. I think it's very honest of him, but it might be also the case where he says, I won't be fully healed in 6 or 8 weeks, and I'll play and be out there and do the best I can. So it's a little bit of a vague thing, especially when the practice reports early in the week sounded like, oh, yeah, he's good to go for Detroit on Monday night. So it's always troubling when a guy like that is kind of all over the board on his injury status, but sometimes players say things that they don't know their status, either negative or positive.
Week 2 of the NFL season, we know the Texans and Bengals wasn't a great matchup. The game you're most looking forward to is what this weekend?
I think I'm most looking forward to a couple games because I like elite quarterbacks, and after what we saw on Thursday, I'll be very excited to see Drew Brees and Tom Brady go at it. We know the defenses of those teams are really stunk in week 1, so I expect those quarterbacks to put on a show there, and then we have the nightcap with Aaron Rodgers and Matt Ryan. So it's just pretty much the NFL is having a little bit of funk now, but it doesn't beat it when it comes to 2 elite quarterbacks playing against each other. I think that's the best game that you can watch in the NFL right now.
Sporting News is Vinnie Iyer right now with Levack GOZ on 104.5 The Team. Vinny, the Bucks and the Dolphins lose their bye week in Week 11. I don't like the way this played out. Do you think it'll be an issue for either squad?
Well, I think it's more so for the Dolphins because their schedule's tougher in stretches, and then they have the London game right before that Week 11 game that they have to play Tampa. So I just think also the Buccaneers are the better team right now, and you look right away off the bat, the Dolphins have to play out there in Los Angeles, had to practice out there, so already displaced and rough, lost their opening home game, while the Bucs get to open at home against the Bears team, and then they'll be off to a good start. So I think Tampa actually might help Tampa. It might really hurt Miami.
New York Giant fans saw Ezekiel Elliott had a good performance against them. Now we wonder the future of Ezekiel Elliott. Any feel on how much, if any, games he's going to be suspended this season?
It's just going to go back and forth. We'll know week to week. I don't know how many legal cards each side can keep playing. I'm not an expert in that area, but I'm sure there are a few more hoops to jump through here. I think another key date is going to be here in October pretty soon. So who knows what's going to happen, but I think the NFL should be concerned that if this goes out the window and they can't put this in place, then their power is severely affected with the personal conduct policy.
Vinny, if you had to decide right now, who's the worst team in the NFL, the Colts or the Jets?
It's pretty close. At least the Colts have the lingering thing of Andrew Luck. Whenever he returns, I think they're still a bad team, but not as bad. I think Jets don't have that. They're not going to turn to Bryce Petty or Christian Hackenberg and all of a sudden get better here. So the Jets are definitely the worst team when you look overall, with no prospect and no real positive vibes. Well, Andrew Luck, if he comes back, the Colts can at least throw the ball around.
Vinnie Iyer, the Sporting News, with us right now on 104.5 The Team.
The first place Buffalo Bills atop the AFC East get the Carolina Panthers this weekend. Could you see Brandon Beane and maybe even Sean McDermott, maybe more so McDermott than Beane, having a big influence going against their former franchise?
I think these two teams are pretty much the same at this point. The way things have operated early in Buffalo, it's kind of very similar to what we had with Dave Gettleman before he was let go here in terms of the style, just cleaning house and some bad veteran contracts, is moving things around, kind of positioning themselves for down the line. And I think you're going to see two very similar teams. You have quarterbacks that are mobile. You're going to have two teams that are going to run the ball as much as possible, try to get some downfield shots. So it's going to be two very similar teams, obviously organizations that know each other really well now. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think I like Carolina in this game to cool them off here.
Vinnie Iyer, the Sporting News, with us right now. So, Vinnie, every year that we travel to the Super Bowl, we see you walking around. We try to grab your attention. And this year, when we do that, who are going to be the two teams playing for the championship?
Well, right now I have the Patriots and the Seahawks. I didn't really like the way Seattle came out there, but I'm still going to stick with that. I mean, I don't really like the way New England came out either, but I'm going to stick with that. I think maybe if we're going to go to another level of that, I might look at the Raiders and Packers, but I think anything other than the Patriots Seahawks will be fun, just so we have a little bit of twist here.
Vinny, I get picked on here in upstate New York because I'm the loudest and most annoying Raiders fan. So when you said, I actually just translated what you said into the Raiders are going to win the Super Bowl.
They very well could be. And keep in mind, when we saw them last year with Derek Carr, when he was healthy, there are a lot of things the Raiders do that could cause New England problems. So keep that in mind down the line if that matchup occurs. I think that's the one team, even ahead of the Steelers, that I don't think the Patriots want to face here in the playoffs.
Vinny, we appreciate you, man. Thanks so much for making time.
All right, thank you.